Let's do this. Hey everybody. Hi, how's it going? Welcome back to part 3 of episode 27 about Lovecraftesque. Yay! This is the journey into darkness. This is the last final crescendo part of horror of our story. We're going to begin by reading this part together. The journey into darkness is page 44. Brad, you are the new narrator, correct?
I am the new narrator.
So you get to start on page 44 and read this part.
We're about to start a new part of the game called The Journey into Darkness. This part is a single extended scene, and during this scene we're all going to take turns describing the journey to the location of the final horror. The turn doesn't involve a lot of talking, just a few sentences. On your turn, unlike the rest of the game, you have a free choice over what role to take. If you choose to be narrator, you describe the environment and move the journey on. If you choose to be witness, you describe their inner thoughts and fears. If you choose to be watcher, you elaborate on whatever the previous player describes. You play through at least 12 turns. Starting with the 12th turn, if we choose to be narrator, then we can describe the witness's arrival at the location of the final horror and end the journey. On the 16th step, if we get that far, we must do this.
Yeah. So basically, we all get to go 4 times. Okay. So, you are the narrator. So you get to start. You get to start the journey into darkness.
Okay, so Barry is in the car. Right? He's in his cab. Awake and alert. The scenery stretches by, and the sort of the landscape around it kind of blurs as he quickly moves into the distance.
Okay. Then goes to Adam.
The noise of the... Wait, am I muted? No.
No, you're not muted.
I'm good. Okay. So the noise of the car is just moaning.
Of the tow truck?
Yeah. Because I'm imagining he's... Well, where is he right now? Is he in the truck that's being towed, or is he in...
No, he's in the cabin of the
He's
car
in his
being
cab.
towed. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Makes him feel more alone and stuff. It's good.
Isn't that a good analog for life? Being stuck in a cabin of a truck being towed somewhere that's full of horror.
And I feel like there's just another truck all by itself that moans past, going in the opposite direction.
I think
Up to Eric.
I think we see Barry look down at his phone. His phone says low battery.
When Barry sees that, he looks up at or he looks over in his other hand, and it's the picture of his family. And we can see from all the creasing and wearing that the face of his wife is like gone from the picture, basically. Like it's been folded in bed so many times that her face is just like a wrinkle.
That's really sad.
She's become a faceless old woman.
Let's fit this all on screen.
And Timmy has become like some misformed like torn apart sort of blur.
Yeah, everything fit on screen. What did I do? Okay. Sorry. Adjusting stuff. Okay, that'll do. So things become a blur.
Mhm.
The tow truck takes a service road off the highway, which passes through a chain link fence with barbed wire that says restricted access.
The road climbs higher and higher up the side of a mountain, and it's a very, very steep grade, but the tow truck pulls the truck along with no difficulties up a winding path.
It winds with the serpent-like suggestion up to the observatory. The observatory is this cylinder in just a rotated semicircle with a telescope protruding up the side, and it's got one empty opening which opens out onto some railway which goes around the observatory itself.
I think that the narrator, with the last bit of his battery, no, I don't think he calls his parents yet, or he calls his wife yet. I think the truck stops, and when people get out, and he gets out, and he's like, "I thought you said it wasn't an observatory."
So I think he gets out of his cab and he walks over to ask the service people what's going on, and they're not here. He looks around and he can't find them. They're not in the driver's seat.
There's no sign of them?
No sign of them.
Is that number 9, so I'm keeping track?
Should be, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. That should be 10.
Then what am I missing? Siren goes by. There's noise of a tow truck moaning. Phone had low battery. The face of his wife with the photo is a wrinkle. The details pass by on the travel. The truck takes a service road. The road's upward and long. The truck stops outside the observatory. There's no sign of the 2 truck operators. What am I missing?
It feels like you're either missing one of yours or one of Brad's.
Shit. Brad, am I missing one of yours?
I don't think so. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
I'm not too concerned about it.
I don't think I was missing one. I wonder. Shit. All right.
I don't know.
Cool. Adam.
So you hear this sonorous Tibetan singing bowl noise, this metallic and just constant and piercing from the opening that you can't get to because it's on the railing that is on top.
You get a nosebleed. Only the nosebleed is black goo. Or black ichor. I said goo.
Barry looks all around him, and his hand kind of clenches around the photocopy, and we see the glint of his ring. And he looks up at the stars, and he feels like he's heading to somewhere, like he's on a train, and he was always headed to this destination, and he begins walking towards the entrance to the observatory.
So light reflects off of the glint of your ring, and as your like sinuses are kind of like filled and like ossified with the scent and like substance of molasses and rubber, like car tire being burned smell. You have your ring like glints off, and you see just a flash of like this focused like light thing just catch it on fire, even though it's just like a glint off the moon, so it shouldn't be able to do that. So you see the light of it, and then you look at it, but then it's still the same as it was. But like there's no fire there, but the picture is gone. Like it's out of your hand, like it blew away in the wind or something. Or that it burned completely to ashes and there was no fire at all.
Do you climb up the observatory? Is that a thing you do? Like, is an observatory have multiple levels in it? I actually don't know.
They can.
I was picturing that there'd be like a lower entrance that you would go in, but like the actual telescope would be located on like the second tier, along with the railway that goes around the outside.
So all of the ones that I've been in have to have multiple levels because you have to be able to reach up for people to do maintenance on the telescope. So at the very least, there's 2 levels on the inside. Some of them have levels on the outside where you can like walk around on the outside of it on the railing.
Okay. I think he tries to call. I'm gonna let him call his wife with the phone up here, and I think it connects. But what does he hear on the other end? And that's number 14.
Yeah. So the voice connects, and before he says a word, he hears a like thrumming vibration. And whispers, and then he hears very clearly the voice of his wife, or ex-wife, and she says, "Come inside, we're waiting." And then his phone dies.
Awesome. So that means we have to go to the final horror. So we go back to our normal roles. 1 narrator, 1 witness, and watchers. But in this scene, the witness will come face to face with the true horror. So who will be the narrator? Okay. Well, when the witness arrives at the location of the final horror, the player to the left of the last narrator reads this part. So we're about to reach the final scene of the game. The witness is going to see the true horror that so far has only been hinted at. This scene will either involve a direct encounter with a monster or a revelation of worldview-shattering proportions. Or maybe both. One of us has to volunteer to decide what that true horror is and be the narrator for this scene. We've all been writing our ideas down as we go, so this shouldn't be too hard. The narrator will have to weave a horror that explains all the clues we've seen so far, but they needn't explain it all to us during this scene, as long as they don't ignore any of the clues entirely.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. There's another part to read.
Oh.
Sorry. It's the person to the left, so Brad, read this part.
Okay. To help give an idea of the sort of thing that might happen at the climax of a final horror scene, here are some examples from Lovecraft himself. In one story, the witness discovers they are descended from the monster. In another, the witness discovers that what they had assumed to be paintings of imagined grotesqueries are photographs of real-life subjects. In a third, after devastating and tainting the location of the story, the monster simply leaves, demonstrating the irrelevance of the witness.
So whoever volunteers to be the narrator of the final scene reads this part out. And Adam, you volunteered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, let me scroll up and down. Wait. Oops. Okay, so I was on the right part. Goodness. In this final scene, we go back to our normal roles. One narrator, one witness, plus watchers if you've been using them. But in this scene, the witness will come face to face with the true horror. There won't be any more need for clues. We get to abandon all those pesky rules about rational explanations. We will describe things that nobody can deny are supernatural in nature. The witness will have even less control over their destiny in this scene than usual. They might try to run and hide, or hide, or if they're really foolish, they might try to fight the horror. They may even just look on in horror as the scene unfolds. So, witness, you may find yourself mostly narrating your terrified mental state. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I love that part of the roles of the teaching part of this game. It literally says, like, enjoy the ride. Sure. So I will be playing as the witness. Yep. So the player to the witness says what has become of our central character. Oh, that's the epilogue. Sorry, we're ready to go.
Oops.
No. I was started reading the epilogue.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So what do we see as I step inside?
What
do I hear?
You have
what do I smell?
So you hear nothing but ticking inside, and you see
inside a giant
people.
clock.
Like, it looks empty. You see this board full of different clocks and measures of degrees, and it's got all these sort of controls on it so that you can modify, like, the telescope exactly how you want it to go.
Uh-huh.
Then, like, on your left, you have these like metal stairs that go up to the railing of the second level, and the stairs are like yellow warning, sort of yellow color, and the top is just like metallic gray. Oh, and by the way, the clocks on the side are glowing bright orange.
Okay, so my eyes are probably hurt from the glowing.
Yeah, maybe the entire thing's just filled with orange, and you have like this dimly lit telescope in front of you.
Help me understand this picture. So everything's bright. How is the telescope dimly lit when everything in here is bright orange?
So like the lights from the clocks are very bright, but it doesn't
fill the room?
It doesn't fill the room very well at all.
Oh,
like,
okay.
you can just see the form of the telescope, and what you really see is the light from the clocks being reflected off of the kind of reflective surface of the telescope. Like
Okay.
it's this big hull of a thing.
Well, I guess I peer into the telescope then.
Sure, you see, Barry sees, it's pointed at this nebula, but since we're not the Hubble Space Telescope and we're just looking at it from Earth's atmosphere, it just looks at like this very clear resolution, but it just looks like this green blob.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe you don't know how to handle a telescope, so you end up shaking the thing around, and then you're just peering into nothingness. And then you look back out, and your wife is behind you, and just
I start to like stammer saying her name, and
she's got a hand on your back, like caressing it.
okay. I'm shocked, I guess. Am I? Yeah. I feel like I'm in a dream, like in a state of disbelief.
It looks like your wife, but its eyes are as lustful as they are empty, and whatever this thing that isn't your wife says, "We thank you for your blood, your semen, and your worship, and the child that you produced for us."
Is that it? I think that's
Yeah.
Is that scene. Damn.
I like it.
Yeah, we never named the wife.
I like it that way.
Yeah. Shit.
Was there a wife?
Yeah, there's no wife the whole time. So, this is the epilogue. Our story has concluded, but we're going to have an epilogue to reveal a little bit of what happens next, both to the witness and also to the horror they encountered. We don't play this out, we just narrate it, either as a scene or some short scenes, perhaps through another medium like a newspaper. The narrator's role is to decide what happens to the horror. They have to show how the horror is still out there in the world in some form. I think we see it's something about the Alamo. I think we see something about. No, we don't. No, it's not the Alamo. I'm sorry. That's the wrong way of going through this. I'm trying to think of a way that we would see.
I was thinking we might see Timmy, or not Timmy, or...
Oh, yeah. I think we see Timmy graduate college or something like that. Or he's like wins like a cross-country event or whatever. But like when he like accepts the prize or whatever, we see like a glint of like his eyes or like pupil is black. And then like it switches back or something. Like it's like in him. Yeah, something like
Cool. And what happened to our witness?
that would be you who plays the witness.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize we were
Yeah,
swapping out.
I think you still rotate around.
Cool.
So like I would do narrator, you would be witness, and then watcher.
So I think when next we see Barry, and he's driving his truck, and he is just going down a road, and it's a bright sunny day, but he's in the middle of like empty desert, like where he was before. And he's going, and there's no ring on his finger. We see his hand on the wheel. There's no ring. We see no picture on the windshield. And he's just going down the road with a blank expression on his face. And that is all we see of Barry.
Oh, just an orphan. Or a zombie. Orphans and zombies sound very familiar in my own brain.
He's a something. I would like to believe it's ambiguous.
Yeah.
Shit. Damn it, Riga. That's perfect. So what Riga says is, what if we revealed that the day where the son reappeared at the Alamo wasn't his son, and he was like a body swap person.
Oh, I was already thinking that.
I wasn't thinking that at all, and that's amazing. Dang.
I thought you were onto that when he didn't run anymore. Like when we had that conversation, like something happened to him. No. I can't remember which came first, to be honest. But whether we like learned that he went missing for a while, or whether we learned that he didn't run well anymore. I think it was the running. But yeah, that's where I thought that was going. I don't know. Do we want to talk about like what our other ideas were?
What were our other theories? Of course, yeah. Let's have our conspiracy theory talk now.
So my theory was that I went with the idea that there's some sort of like extraplanar being superimposed on top of ours, and they're watching us constantly. Like there are millions of them, and they stand like directly behind us watching everything we do. And they can try and communicate with the ones that they're interested in by making like a kind of like a humming sound that was sort of mentioned early. And they start to take an interest in him because of just by sheer chance. And they've already sort of thoroughly done something bad, but basically their observation does bad things to you. Someone had mentioned earlier, and I was already thinking this, like people with metal implants in their teeth can sometimes pick up signals, like radio and that kind of waves. And I was thinking like that's part of how they're observing us and doing that sort of thing.
You caught on.
I wasn't thinking that. Well, I was thinking kind of. I had some similar ideas, which makes sense, right? My idea was that the goo and stuff was some sort of like microbial life, and it has something to do with like it either landed at the observatory or it somehow at the observatory was the source originally, and since then was spread out. And I was thinking that I never had a chance to do it. So I was thinking about the time it actually infected the. It's something to be tied in with Angela, and that the Alamo somehow connected it to your guys as the infection happened, and that the closer you get to the observatory, the more apparent and agitated the microbial life got. Was my idea. I went more of the science thing.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I was working this like Angela guardian angel thing where like, and then with the Bible, like your guardian angels, but they're really just these like extra dimensional beings watching you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like all this.
Yeah.
My theory was that there were voices coming from the stars, and that's what Barry was feeling in his teeth, and that's why they were bleeding, because like the stars had spoken to his wife and like transformed her, but now they were speaking to him, so they were resonating just in his teeth, which is why his gums were bleeding.
Yeah. So I think one big thing about this game is that it's called Lovecraftesque, but it really doesn't. You shouldn't use actual Lovecraft lore in your game. I think it's important to come into it. Maybe I should have mentioned earlier too. It's like Actually, not knowing that much about Lovecraft, I think would help a lot because you're not trying to like come up with the same mythos of it.
Mhm.
It's far more. It's I find it more enriching when you just make up random stuff, and you're like, wow. So what were our thoughts of the game? What do we think?
So I like the game. I think one problem that the game is always going to be fighting, and this kind of comes with taking on like such a Herculean task as designing a game that's supposed to build horror, which is, in my mind, distinct from but very similar to Fear, which is also really difficult to do. Is that when you play a game like this, and we do like we take the moments to read through the teaching guide, and we take the moments to like figure out who's supposed to be reading. I think it does a little harm to the pacing, which I think is really important to build horror. And I think it's fine. I think it still worked. I think I still had a lot of fun, and I think we still told like a very Lovecraftesque story. But I never felt like any mounting dread, so to speak.
Yeah. Something that I think I heard that hurt this game for us, I think we had too many similar details, and like it felt like I don't know. It felt like we were like trying to kickstart a story, and it never happened at some points. It felt like I don't know. It didn't seem to like connect right, which I guess happens.
I hit a snag when the truck broke, because I was really thinking about the truck as our mobility to get us around. Like I wanted to get to that amusement park.
Yeah.
Once the truck broke, I kind of had a mental snag and wasn't sure how to advance forward without doing things I wasn't really interested in seeing. So I went backwards to something I was interested in. But I think it affected it. Like I'm sorry to Adam that we never made it to the abandoned amusement park. But like,
yeah. Well, I think there's something important about story games. This comes up in Fiasco all the time. Just because you have something on a card doesn't mean you have to use it.
Mm-hmm.
If you find it detracting or not adding value, like, or just you can't get it into, you just can't find the spot to put the puzzle piece in, it's okay.
Yeah.
Shouldn't hurt yourself over it. But I agree. I think it would be cooler if we could have had that. But I just don't see how the abandoned amusement park could have really gotten like it. The way we set up the game, like it was going to be really difficult with that protagonist. Would it have been better to come up with I think it almost would have been better to come up with the protagonist first, and then do the locations and setting.
And I think it's tough to strike a line between, because we don't want to be planning out the whole thing in advance. Like that's not what we want to do. But it is. I think it can work better if some of that fits better. Like it was always going to be tough in my mind to have the Alamo and the amusement park.
Yeah,
like those
right.
are tough. I honestly thought the amusement park was going to be easy to fit in, and the Alamo was going to be really hard.
Oh.
But I ended up feeling like the Alamo was fine.
Yeah.
And I think the amusement park would have been fine too.
Why would a truck driver go to an amusement park?
Right.
Like that was my difficult part of this.
I don't know. I mean, I almost think that there could have been an interesting story to tell just at the hotel or the motel, but yeah, I don't know.
Riga mentions this came out very odd and bleak, very minimal and such. Less mounting dread and more having trouble with the stark, harsh, and warped reality. I agree, and that's why I want to share with you one that a story of mine that I posted before. This was from a story game Seattle where I ran the game. This was mounting dread. This went to 11 with this game. I think it just happens sometimes with the pacing and like, especially in the Journey into Darkness. It just felt like sometimes some of the steps we were taking on our Journey into Darkness were of like different levels, and it just didn't feel like smooth. That's what I felt like mostly. It felt like throughout the game, it never felt smooth. It always felt jarring.
It felt kind of like modern horror. I feel like I've seen I think Ty West movie. I can't remember which one. If it's not multiple,
Wild
that
West?
felt a little.
The Wild Wild West?
No, not the Wild Wild West, but it felt kind of like that modern horror, things out of place, like jarring scenes without a letdown, or like a diffusement, and I think that makes sense. I mean, obviously, we're all influenced by like the media we take in. I certainly watch quite a few modern horror films.
Yeah. Adam, what do you think, man? You've been quiet.
I don't know what my horror influences are, really. Because I don't watch, like, horror films, really, but I guess... Yeah, I'm not
It's
really
true.
sure.
We did pick a setting that makes things hard to play off. It was very introspective. That's an important thing to say. That's a really good point, Rigo. Choosing to do this with a very, like... First off, he was, like, a non-introspective type person, and we're forcing him into this sort of, like, introspective, existential problem. Right, of being a truck driver. Something I wish I would have changed... Something I would have changed about him, if I could, I would have made him a veteran.
Yeah.
I think having some sort of like idea of like either like a flashback to a war setting or like some kind of like traumatic thing, or like something to juxtapose the long stances of boringness on the road. Like something to just give him some sort of like color other than just bland, of just replaceable by anybody.
Yeah, it felt like his strongest characterization was tied to people that, for reasons of theme and tone, like could not be around him much, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
Barry is his connection to his family and his feeling of estrangement. And since his family like can't be here, like isolation is a heavy theme, and his inability to reach them is important. It kind of puts him at this one note that doesn't get played very loud, or it's hard to come through.
Yeah, agreed. But well, dang. Yeah, this game could be very different if your protagonist was a businessman with an average family, a 9-to-5 who had friends and he hung out with them. Yeah, but it also could have been like a high school girl or shop owner or hot dog vendor. Yeah, there's tons of different things. Yeah, like I said, like I played this game 5 times now, or 4 times now. Or no, 5 times now. And each one is just like so wildly different than the other. I think I played this with a 2-player game. Yeah, I did a 2-player game of this a long time ago, like in November, where we played a Cold War remote outpost in Alaska in the in like 1950, which was really cool. Sometimes it's like just really difficult to I don't know. I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was that was preventing us from things, but I'm pretty sure it was the what if Firewatch went somewhere different is exactly like the isolationism cut us away from, I think, being able to see and make some really cool points. I think we dug ourselves into a corner, or put ourselves into a corner a little bit with that. Like there wasn't a lot of opportunities to add a lot of NPCs, like basically. Or foil.
In like the motel, because we could sort of play off like, oh, it's filled with all these weird smells. The vents are kind of irritating.
Yeah. And there could have been other guests. There could have been other people. Like there's a chance for things to change. So
I didn't find it quite as I don't know, you said jarring or abrupt, and you've played this game several more times than I have. I've thought it worked well enough as a like sort of vignette at it almost worked well to me as like a vignette of the end of a person's life and like how they came to like how, you know, what kind of person would have this happen to him.
Yeah.
And look at it that way. Like I found myself feeling very sympathetic for poor Barry, and I wished that things would have gone better for him. But it didn't feel like it's coming.
That's a good point. So I don't think this game was necessarily jarring, but I would say that this was relatively jarring compared to my other experiences with this game. Adam? Just sitting there?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, guys, before we do outros?
I would play this game again. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mechanically, from a game design perspective, I cannot enjoy enough just the ability to rotate the roles, combined with the narrative pacing mechanisms built into the game about the slow build, the way you can mechanize a story to emulate that sort of experience. Really cool.
I think I would have enjoyed more if the end of each scene kind of like was like a shovel under the rocks of our roles, and then like kind of like pulled us all up, and then we could, because like when we were starting out, we could have sort of have been like, okay, I want to start out being the narrator, and then like, yeah, I specifically remember this. Eric was like, well, for the sake of time, I'll be the narrator, and then Brad was like, well, Adam, if you're okay with it, and then I was like, you know, I'm okay with it, and then we got to choose our roles. I wish we would have gotten to choose our roles again instead of just rotating.
Why?
But, you know, that's just me.
Why? If you don't mind me asking.
I personally like for games to have controls for players about how they interact with the game. And this is a problem I have had with Microscope and with this game.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I definitely see the parallels between this game and Microscope in that regard.
Yeah.
So this game offers 3 different ways of playing the game based on your role, right? Like there's 3 roles.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they give you 3 different ways of influencing the game. But they force you to influence the game in those ways, whether you wanted to be narrator or not, or like you wanted to be watcher or not.
Exactly.
Something that I thought was interesting.
And that has never been my cup of tea, and Eric, you realize
I
this.
I know, but I think it's philosophically, like from a game design philosophy perspective, it's important because it forces us to all not be equal shareholders in a story. It forces us all to have to contribute, and push the envelope that way. The game is designed specifically so somebody doesn't railroad the game into their own story.
Right, and it was really interesting for me because the final horror comes around, and this is kind of the culmination where the narrator pulls the clues together and the witness describes how it reacts. And since I'm the watcher, and I don't know exactly where the narrator is going, it's hard to add detail, and because we're kind of at the climax, I don't want to interrupt the pacing. Like, this is the tense moment of the payoff. Yeah. I don't want to break it up, and I don't know where the narrator's going yet. So it kind of felt like we were all participating together. We take turns doing different things. We got to the final horror. I'm basically backseat, watching it play out, and I think that was okay.
Inspectors has the same problem.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not a problem. It's just that there's all this build-up, there's all this explanation, there's all this excitement, and then all of a sudden, it comes into one person decides it, and that's how everything wraps up. Like in Inspectors, it's like, one person, you hit your franchise dice goal. Describe how you beat the ghost, right? Like it's very similar to this game where it's like, okay, you reached up 12 or 13 or 14 or 15 or whatever, describe the final lore. Okay, well I guess I have to just bring it all together. Like all of a sudden you have to bring everything together. You can make this a 90-minute student film without needing $10 million, and that I'd watch for sure. If you ever wanted something to do like NaNoWriMo, just play like spend October playing Lovecraftesque and just pick your favorite story. Like seriously.
You know what I was honestly going through my head towards the end was like, what if Silent Hill 2, you took out all of the overtly supernatural elements, and I feel like you'd get something that felt very similar to the game we just played. I don't know, and I think that part of that's like the isolation, and part of that is the character Barry being the way he is. But I really enjoyed it, and I definitely agree that like you could make kind of an artsy movie where like very little is actually directly explained. You just gotta apply a lot about Barry.
Definitely. Okay, let's do some outros, guys. It's getting late. So, Brad, would you like to go?
Sure. Well, I'm Brad Nakamura. My Twitter handle is available. I don't actually use Twitter much, so don't worry about it. I had a great time. This is my, I think, third time that I've been on Once Upon a Game. I'm really loving it. I love these story-based games. I particularly love horror. And thanks to you all so much for coming out. Really enjoying reading your chats. This game especially, it was so fun to have like a chat commentating and like giving their own theories, because we're making up our own theories as we go.
I almost like want to hack. I want to hack the game in a way to like have chat as a player in some way.
Chat can be watchers.
Yeah, actually, fucking that's exactly what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's actually what it is. I don't even have to hack the game. You were just watchers. Yeah. Ask questions, provide like details. Only it's like option. I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's just watchers.
Hopefully they have to be watchers.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was fantastic. Greatly enjoyed it. Thanks to everyone for coming out, and I'll see you sometime soon. Actually.
Yeah. Awesome, Adam.
Hello, I'm Adam. You can come help me with Gravel at twitter.com/darklavendervoid. There is no final E in Lavender. If you want to come play some story games, or I have some that are free because they're old, and others that are not free for they are new and are being streamed. You can get those at patreon.com/darklavendervoid.
Yeah, and for everybody, I'm Eric. I'm EricVulgaris here on the internet. I run Once Upon a Game. We do this 3 times a week. Oftentimes this month it's going to be like 4 because I'm doing random one-shots on Saturdays. So coming up for my stream schedule, my next stream is Friday. My girlfriend and I are going to be playing Undertale together. We play Undertale at 8 p.m. Pacific, so that'll be fun. We're almost done it. Undertale's been a lot of fun. Neither of us have played anything before, any Undertale, no spoilers or anything like that, and our mods and everybody been able to keep spoilers away. It's a lot of fun. One day you guys can play Once Upon a Game. So if you want to play Once Upon a Game with me, my next game will be this Saturday at 9 a.m. I'm be playing Acton Cthulhu. I had to cancel it last week because I was moving and had technical issues. So it's been moved to this Saturday. So I'm playing Saturday at 9 a.m. I'm playing Sunday at 9 a.m. The following Monday, I'm also playing at 9 p.m. Wednesday. So just check my schedule below, and check my schedule when I go offline, or go to ericvulgaris.com/schedule. It's my usual schedule. So thank you guys so much. If you're ever interested in playing games with me, hit me up on my Discord. So I'm going to go ahead and link you to my Discord. I have a scheduling sheet there for you to fill in if you want to play games. Right now, all of March is March Madness. We're playing like Lovecraftian Cthulhu Madness style games, as well as a couple other random ones. And I also want to do a quick announcement. At the end of this month, I released it on Twitter earlier. I'll be playing a one-shot of the Sprawl RPG with Adam Coble, Stephen Lumpkin, John Harper, and AP Gaming Reel. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And that's Easter Sunday at 2 p.m. So if you guys can tune in for that, that'd be cool. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys tuned in. Chat, you guys were awesome today. Riga, Hyrule, everybody, thank you so much. Reading your guys' thoughts and ideas and comments is super awesome and inspiring. So thank you guys. Take care. Have a great night. See ya.
Okay.
Oh, and obviously, before I go, thank you, Brad and Adam. What a rude host for thanking our guests and the players. Jesus, I feel so bad. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Thank you for having us, sir.
Thank you guys so much. All right, take care, everybody.